I mean, certainly my take on vocal technique is that the more facility that you can develop with your vocal technique, the more freedom of expression you have to express whatever it is. So this instrument, this vessel we have, becomes this a more free and more powerful and more dynamic instrument of whatever idea or emotion that we want to express. So all the nuts and bolts and the geekery and raise this and lower that and spread that and all that is purely for the aim of emotional expression and storytelling.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm kind of dropping in and just blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, we're here to learn. We're here to learn, and you've had more experience than any of us. In actually putting it to work and actually doing it for a living, and so
I'm here to. I'm very this song I was hearing just now is just so gorgeous, and this isn't something that I get to hear very often. It's not a style of music, so I'm very interested to be able to hear that and the style of singing and expression that goes along with it, of course, and then however I can be useful to you guys, in terms of drawing from my experience or my training. I can tell you a little bit about my path. Would that be useful, you think?
Yeah.
So basically, I did 3 degrees in music. I did a bachelor's, a master's, and an artist diploma. David and I went to the same school for my artist diploma and your master's, right?
Mm-hmm.
And did you stay for an artist diploma?
I started it.
Yeah.
But I got a job before I finished it.
Yeah.
So.
And so I started out with the intent of being a voice teacher. I actually wasn't interested in performing at all.
And we were having a dysfunctional relationship. I was having a dysfunctional relationship with the school at the time, so it was perfect timing.
That's easy to do, actually. Mine was not so functional itself, actually. I didn't have such a good time there, but the training was good.
Yeah.
So I'm a lyric baritone. I just hit 40, and so as I'm getting older, my body's continuing to develop. I'm moving more into dramatic baritone territory, although I'm not a full-blown dramatic baritone. That's a total different kind of creature. But I started out with the intent of being a teacher, and then as I developed my technique, it became clear that I had some shot, at least, at doing this for a living. And so I did the 3 music degrees, and then I did an apprenticeship with Seattle Opera, where I got to sing some of my first roles in the context of a professional opera company, and had more acting coaching and singing and musical style coaching and stuff. And then I got my first big break with Israeli opera, actually, just as I was finishing up the program at Seattle Opera. And it was a big role, which at the time, I wasn't really ready to sing big roles in international houses, but that would fit quite well. So I was able to pull it off pretty decently. And then from that, I got my first agent, and then I started getting more job offers and auditions. And that was about 13 years ago now. So since then, I've been making my living just gig by gig as a freelance opera singer, and I sing opera and concert and recital.
I would say that because you're so good, you're able to sing concerts where, a lot of people might be more busy with opera, but like you're just for me to sing leader is the most difficult, takes the most skill.
Yeah,
it's very
challenging. Yeah,
to me,
for sure. But it works the other way around too, because there are singers who perhaps can collect their voices in a more intimate setting and sing leader and get all that dynamic range and expressivity, but when you get them into like a full-blown opera situation where you've got to fill a 3,000 seat house and sing over the orchestra and all that, they might not have the ability to really engage their entire bodies to the way you were just doing. You're doing really an amazing job of that. Engage their entire bodies to really bring the resonance to its optimal point to be able to carry over the orchestra and stuff. And so, but it's harder to make a living singing concerts. And so, and of course, you know, the aim is just to be the most expressive singer you can and do whatever you want to. And so,
you said something really beautiful, that singing is perhaps the most the pinnacle of what a human being is able of doing.
Yeah, I believe that, you know, aside from procreation, the singing is the single most beautiful thing that one can do with a human body. I mean, you know, it's amazing when you think about it that the vocal folds, you know, they're two tiny little flaps of skin inside our trachea, between the mouth and the lungs. And the whole purpose, if you look at it from a biological development standpoint, the original purpose of the vocal folds, they developed to keep us from inhaling food or inhaling any foreign objects. And so that eventually turned into a method of communication among our own species, and then that eventually aligned with, you know, this discovery of organized sound, which is music, and then that became a tool of expression, and the voice developed along with that. And you know, when you think about it, amplified voices, like voices actually using a microphone to be heard by many people, that's a relatively new phenomenon when you're looking at it in a historical context. And so, you know, we've been doing that like 100 years tops. And so up until that point, like, this was the most beautiful sound that you could possibly make, and the most flexible and dynamic sound that you could possibly make for the largest group of people in the largest space. And so the fact that it's been cultivated to such a degree over, you know, literally thousands of years, and that we can still practice this now, I think is an incredibly powerful thing.
So what can you think? What could Lazer do to do this better that he's doing? What thing would you pick at?
I kind of don't want to mess with it. I mean,
yeah?
It's you're clearly trained and very experienced in this style of singing, right? What's your background?
No background.
Oh, really? So have you been doing it like as?
I'm a very successful shower singer.
Yeah, that's excellent.
That's about it.
Yeah. Well, I like your voice a lot, and you know, and also, you know, I'm not, you know, not being part of your community and your faith, I don't want to be picking away too much at music which is meant to be devotional. You know what I mean? I don't want to be stepping over boundaries in that. So please give me a
this
gauge.
This is a folk song, so
it's a folk song. Okay.
It's not. I mean, the emotions. I don't know if I was trying to act, but the emotions that someone would make naturally by singing the song would be about the song.
Yeah.
Which is a very interesting song, actually.
Yeah.
It's about our history from when we were exiled, going into different parts in different countries.
Oh wow.
But we would still turn back to our synagogue to pray.
Yeah.
And sing in there.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So
it actually has pieces of prayers from Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur.
Okay.
It's interesting.
And it's all in Yiddish?
It's actually in Hebrew.
Oh, it's in Hebrew. Okay.
No, it's Yiddish.
It's a Yiddish song. The pieces that you sang.
Oh, the prayer part.
The bits of prayer are in Hebrew, and then the song is in yeah.
He understands. He obviously like connects to what he's singing about. It's like, and that's such a big step in being able to just use your voice. If you don't know what you're trying to do to begin with.
Yeah, it really is. And you speak Yiddish?
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's probably, is that your first language?
It is.
It's your first language? Yeah, I can tell you connect with it. I mean, it doesn't sound like anything that's, you know, practiced.
When you say connect, you as an opera singer, you probably sing 5 different languages.
Yeah.
And he don't speak any of the languages. So when you say connect, I understand what you're saying.
No, but opera singers do speak the languages also.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have
to. To different degrees. Like my German is quite strong. You know, like, yeah, I can converse in German. I understand a lot of Yiddish, actually.
So I understand a bit of German.
Yeah. And but my Italian, I don't quite understand as much Italian, and French, I've just got to work really hard to.
But when you do a role or a new piece, do you understand what you're saying?
I understand every. You know the answer to that. No, I mean I understand every single word, the grammatical cases, the tenses, the whether the word is in current use or whether it's not. Like this is all the study we do too.
People
You
don't
can't act otherwise.
People don't realize that.
You
Yeah.
can't act.
Actually, from my experience, I was singing a Hebrew song for the very first time.
Yeah.
And my notice was, here's why I was having a dilemma is, whenever you're going to sing a song in a specific language, you have to know the rules of that language, of which syllable takes the accent.
Yeah.
As in Hebrew, it's really interesting. It's kind of opposite of English. In Hebrew, it's usually the very last syllable of the word that takes the accent.
Oh, really?
Or 15% of the time, it can be the next to last. So if you have a word with more than two syllables, the first syllable of the word can never take the accent. It's always the last syllable or the next to last in the Hebrew language.
Oh, that's interesting to know. I wish I would have known that when I've sung Hebrew. Because I've sung quite a bit of Hebrew actually, and
it's a very important rule.
Yeah, it's really good to know. But for me, like I've sung Hebrew, Czech, Spanish. Spanish I learned a bit about, but these are languages that I sing maybe once every couple of years or so. And so those I kind of faked a bit more. Especially Czech. When I sing Czech, I just like I had a really rough translation going in my mind of what I was singing while I was singing it. But for that, I simply didn't have the time or the resources to really study the language. But yeah, so yeah, I mean the only thing I'd be interested to hear it's Laser. Okay. The only thing, if you're interested in just kind of from kind of a cold, neutral, objective, technical point of view of what you could do to maybe make that a bit easier. The only thing I could say that I really heard was there's something about your breath wasn't really relaxed in it, or as relaxed as it could be. You have a lot of power in your body, and the power is connecting to your vocal instrument, which is great. Like if I were to describe the vocal instrument in its simplest terms, I would say that this is your motor is down here, your vibrator is here, and your resonator is up here. So here you've got using your all of your abdominal muscles, your lateral abdominal muscles, and even some of these muscles here and back. These are the muscles that control the diaphragm, which is a big muscle that it connects from here all the way back to here, and kind of is like a dome just over your stomach and your guts, and then just above that are the lungs. And so your diaphragm is a muscle that controls exactly how much air is being squeezed out of your lungs. It's like a bellows, basically, or like the handles on a bellows. And then that's bringing the air up through your vocal folds, which are coming together. If you ever take a balloon and just kind of stretch the neck of the balloon to make that kind of sound, that sound's coming from the vibration of those two sides. And so that's what your vocal folds do. And so, but if you were to just hear those two components by themselves, it would sound like that. It's what colors the sound and gives the sound its sort of purity and shape is your vocal folds are about right there. So it's what happens from here through there. It's your vocal tract is what it's called. And that's the horn that actually gives the voice all of its color, and that's where the resonance comes from. So with that in mind, it's like vocal pedagogy 101. That was the first 2 months in 5 minutes. So with that in mind, like you're doing some things in the vocal tract which are very, very effective and are giving you a lot of point to that sound. So the sound you're making is one that's going to carry spaces, really, really well. I think the next step would be, and I don't mean to discount what you've already done, because I think you've done amazing work. The next step is to have that sound be more pure and a bit more clean.